Check under his bed. I was working in my garage when I heard my son scream. Not a cry. A scream with weight behind it. The kind that shatters instinct before thought can form. I ran inside. My father-in-law had him by the throat, pinned against the wall. My son's feet weren't touching the ground. His face was calm. Too calm. He leaned close to my son's ear and whispered, slow, deliberate, "If you ever tell your father what you saw, I'll bury you where no one will find you." Time folded inward. My body moved before my mind caught up. I grabbed his arm, let go of my son. He turned to me, smiled. "You heard that?" I nodded. My son gasped, clawing at the air. Then my boy screamed again, voice breaking, "Dad, check under his bed." That was when my father-in-law released him. Not in panic, not in fear, in control. He straightened his jacket, smoothed his cuffs. The smile never left his face. "Children imagine things," he said. Then he walked past me like I didn't exist. I held my son while his heart beat like a trapped bird against my chest. And somewhere beneath the shock, beneath the rage, a colder thought surfaced. He wasn't afraid of being seen. He was afraid of being discovered. That night, I didn't check under the bed. Not because I forgot. Because part of me already knew it wasn't about what was there. It was about what had been hidden. My wife said nothing at dinner. Didn't ask why our son wouldn't eat. Didn't ask why my hand shook when I poured water. She didn't look at me. That silence was louder than the scream. Later, when our son slept between us, I watched my wife breathe, counted the seconds, measured the distance. Her father had always been present, too present. Advice that crossed lines. Visits without warning. A hand on her shoulder that lingered half a second too long. I had dismissed it as closeness, as culture, as respect. That's how betrayal survives. It hides behind excuses we want to believe. At 2:17 a.m., I finally checked under the bed. There was a locked metal box. Not dusty. Not forgotten. Maintained. Inside were flash drives, photographs, and letters written in my wife's handwriting. Intimate, reverent, obedient. Not to me. To him. My stomach didn't drop. It hardened. This wasn't a secret. It was a system. And my son had seen something he wasn't supposed to. I didn't confront anyone. I smiled. Went to work. Kissed my wife goodbye. Inside, I catalogued everything. I copied the drives. Recovered deleted files. Map dates, locations, patterns. Late nights at work. Phone calls erased from logs. Payments disguised as gifts. He hadn't just controlled her. He had groomed her. And when she tried to pull away, he used my son. Fear is the most loyal leash. I installed cameras. Not to catch him. To understand him. He visited when I wasn't home. Always when my wife was alone. Always calm. Predators don't rush. I watched my wife shrink around him. Her voice flatten. Her eyes lose focus. And I realized something else. She wasn't just a victim anymore. She was complicit. Every lie she told me was a choice. Every silence, a decision. I waited. Because truth hits harder when it arrives late. The report came back on a Tuesday. I read it once. Then again. Paternity confirmation. My son was mine. He hadn't crossed that line. He didn't need to. Control was enough. That evening, I placed the box on the dining table. Unlocked. My wife froze when she saw it. I didn't raise my voice. Did he threaten our son before? I asked. Or was that new? She broke. Collapsed inward. Cried without sound. He said you'd never believe me, she whispered. That you'd protect him. I nodded. He was wrong. She reached for me. I stepped back. I invited him over the next night. Dinner. Civil. Quiet. After dessert, I slid a folder across the table. He opened it. The smile finally died. Not replaced with fear. With understanding. You planned this, he said softly. Yes. I leaned forward. You threatened my son. You used my marriage. You mistook my silence for weakness. I stood. The files are already copied. Lawyers informed. Authorities briefed. I paused. But that's not the worst part. I turned to my wife. He will never see you again. Never hear your voice. Never have access to your fear. Then to him. And everyone he taught you to manipulate will know exactly who you are. He didn't beg. Men like him don't. He simply nodded. Defeat isn't loud. I didn't forgive my wife. I didn't hate her either. I left with my son. Built a quieter life. A smaller one. But safer. Sometimes I think about the moment he smiled. So certain he was untouchable. Power isn't taken with fists. It's taken by removing the audience. The last thing my father-in-law ever said to me was, "You ruined everything." He was wrong. I ended it.